Okay, and now on to our first presenter. Her name is Stell, okay? And Stell had planned to present about her passion for enameling, which was really amazing when she, when she told us about her love for this process. But when she actually came and did a practice run, her story was so amazing. We said, you gotta talk about this. You gotta talk about your life. And so she's resubmitted, and so I have no idea what she's presenting tonight. But I just wanna say, when she was 49 years old, she, her husband, and her 4 children moved to Camden in 1965. So you do the math, okay? She approaches making art with the same sense of adventure, and she's always willing to experiment with new materials, techniques, styles, and ideas. She's been a painter, printmaker, and illustrator for about 40 years, and when she was in her early 60s, she inherited this huge collection of enameling supplies. And so she began exploring that, and it's become her passion. So her friend Nancy told us she's very open-minded regarding her art and is always experimenting, trying new techniques, and also sharing what she knows with others in a most generous manner. Another friend, Lois, marvels at Stell's bright spirits and her sense of wonder, zest for life, spirit of adventure, and sense of fun. So please welcome Stell.
I don't know why you got to talk so long. Why? Do I get to talk for a minute before the pictures come on? Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. I just found out, after the rehearsal, and I was showing how to do enamels, that people weren't that keen about knowing how I do it. They wanted to know how come I was still doing it at 95. And please, none of that. And they wanted to know how my husband and I managed to make a living at our art all those years. We were married for 72 years, and we never had to take a job. We just had fun doing what we loved to do and selling it. And so I tried to get together some pictures that would show a little bit about what we did, okay? We did a lot of different things, and we had to find out what people liked, so.
Okay, ready?
Ready? So this is our wedding day. That's Shevis and me in the middle. And we were always known as Stell and Shevis because we met in art school. And the men were called by their last names, and the women were called by their first names. And so I never knew his first name was William until we were ready to sign the marriage thing. But so we used that as our business name all those years, Stell and Shevis. And I never called him anything else, except when I was mad. So this is one from the catalog that we used to put out. You can see we worked with fabric. We printed scarves and handkerchiefs. And Shevis would cut the blocks. And I had an old Washington press that was great. I don't know if you know what it is, but you put the... and then I started doing hooked rugs. And I got a commission to do a hooked rug for the Craft Museum in New York City. And the one on the bottom was for a Fairleigh Dickinson University Lodge up in Maine. And if you see the prices on those. Then we did a lot of Christmas cards, and then we had learned to silkscreen, and we found that was quite a bit easier than cutting blocks for everything. So we did a lot of silkscreen Christmas cards and note papers, and we designed Christmas cards for Governor Muskie and other people. And then Shevis started doing wood constructions. I wish I had them in color, painted wood constructions, and they're probably about 3 feet high. And they started to sell, but we kept our prices so reasonable, you know, that everybody thought they were getting a bargain, which they were. This is the Maine Coast Artist Building. When we first got it, well, it's now CMCA, Center for Contemporary Maine Art. But I think that's Lou Dietz in the doorway and Denny Winters on the side. This is one of Shevis's woodblock prints, 4-color. His favorite tool was a single-edged razor blade. And he did a lot of blocks, limited editions of maybe 10 or 20. And once in a while, he would do 50. And I also love gardening, so I did a lot of paintings of flowers, lupin and poppies. And my garden has gone wild now. It's all full of wildflowers because I can't get down on my knees so easy anymore. But then we went to Mexico one winter. We took 3 of our kids. The oldest one was in boarding school in Northfield, and she loved it. She didn't want to go to Mexico. Anyway, this is a true story about our first trip. La Niña Roja is Little Girl in Red, and we packed up our old Jeep station wagon, and the kids sat in the back. We drove to Dallas. That was 2,000 miles, and then we drove another 2,000 miles into Mexico, over the hills and far away. We spent 6 months there for $600. It was cheaper than heating the house in Maine. Well, it was, and it was all deductible because we were working on new designs. This is an enamel I did after one of the trips to Mexico, and this is another one, bird sellers. These are, that's about 5 by 7 inches, the images. So I wish I could go back to Mexico, but it's all different now. Then we drove to Guatemala a couple winters and spent the winter on Lake Atitlan. And this is one of Shevis's drawings. He never fiddled around with pencil and eraser. He just sat down with felt markers and drew. And, you know, I've been finding notebooks full of his stuff. This was a watercolor I did in Guatemala, the market day. I think one reason I've lived so long is that we spent so many winters in the sun and had all those wonderful fruits and vegetables. Never got sick, except once I got turista because I ate something wrong. This enamel is one of a series that I did of the Ecclesiastes, I forget what chapter. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to mourn, and a time to dance. And I put that in to remind myself that I have so many children. We had 4 kids and 10 grandchildren and 21 great-grandchildren, the oldest of whom is married. And this is quite a large piece. It's about 20 inches high by 32. Because one of our grandchildren was killed in an accident. And this is another little family group. I haven't got time to name all those kids, but this is just a family group of the 4 of us. We had 3 girls and a boy, and they're all smart and beautiful and healthy. And this is my husband on his 95th birthday. A friend made him the hat, crown, which says Shevis the Great. And that's it.
That's brilliant.
Thank you.
So I hope I'm that young when I'm 70. And she's single, by the way. Just, you know, I can get her phone number for you. Now, this is also, she's already made plans to attend the International Enamelist Conference this coming fall at the Penland School of Crafts and is looking forward to other travels. So please give it up again for Stell, please.